You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, it has been confirmed that Chad DiMera has been officially recast. Little hints were dropped on social media by Young and the Restless soap actor Connor Floyd just days before the official announcement. I can't remember if I mentioned the hint about the recast in the weekly spoilers, but I saw it several days ago before the official news broke. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about the new Chad coming to Salem and what we expect to see in terms of plots for Abigail's widower now that they are breathing new life into the character after the existing actor quit. And hey, hit subscribe if you're not following us yet. So you've probably heard that Billy Flynn walked away from the role of Chad DiMera, and he landed a great role over on Young and the Restless. He is playing a recast of this character called Cain Ashby, and it's kind of an interesting recast because the character is a good 10 years older than Billy Flynn is, and the actor who last played him is significantly older and Australian and a supposedly reformed con man. So they really had to redo the character to make it a fit for Billy Flynn. He's American, not Australian. They're ignoring the age gap, stuff like that. So he debuted in the role last week playing Cain, and he already seems to be a hit with the fans. And this is really ironic because it's a Y&R actor who's coming to Days of Our Lives as recast Chad. It's this soap opera flip-flop, and what's really funny is this week on Young and the Restless, we've got Billy Flynn in scenes with Connor Floyd, and Connor Floyd is going to be coming to Days to take over the role. So we have new Chad and old Chad in scenes over on Young and the Restless. So it came out in March that Billy Flynn had quit Days, and we've been wondering what would happen to the character of Chad DiMera. But with 8 months tape to air delay, it's going to be a while before we see the last of Billy Flynn on the Peacock soap. You know, we've been wondering if Chad was going to slide out of Salem to, go try and find Abigail DiMera's remains or some other plot to explain an absence. But now we know hunky Connor Floyd began filming this week as the recast version of Chad. So for many Days of Our Lives fans, handsome, blue-eyed Billy Flynn will always be their Chad. But to be fair, he is also a recast in the role. Billy was the second actor to play the part of Chad. However, he's played it the longest for more than a decade. So he's the Chad that most fans know and love. So I'm sure there's going to be that initial phase where people need to, be convinced to accept Connor Floyd as Chad, recast, the sole good brother among the large and evil DiMera family. But if you've been watching Days for a while, you may recall his predecessor. Billy obviously was not the first hunk to play Chad. Casey Diedrich originated the role back in 2009, and he played Chad until 2013. And then in 2014, Billy Flynn took on the role. However, when news of Billy's departure hit, obviously Days fans were wondering if the new writers were going to kill Chad off, at least temporarily. Death's not a permanent thing on Days, or have him go off on an off-campus adventure or recast the character with some new actor. And they did. They found a real hunk. They have recast with Connor Floyd as the beloved character of Chad. And he's coming off a 3.5-year stint on The Young and the Restless as legacy offspring and detective Chance Chancellor. And in fact, Connor was a recast in that role as well. So he understands winning over fans when you replace somebody that's in a pivotal role. And we know that Connor is already taping at Days of Our Lives. He started this week, but due to the 8-month advanced taping schedule of the show, his first scenes as Chad DiMera won't air until 2026. And we know Billy Flynn's final Days episodes wrap up in early 26, but it may be March or even April until we see Connor Floyd in the role. And right now, of course, Chad is very busy. He is a single father to Thomas and Charlotte DiMera. He's in this casual friendship, borderline situationship with Cat Greene, who turns out to be an ex-ISA analyst out of left field, right? And of course, Chad's running the Salem Spectator, the legacy of his late wife, Abigail Deveraux. Plus, we've had Gabby and his brother Tony wanting him back to DiMera Enterprises to get it out of Xander and Phillip's hands. But Chad doesn't want any part of the company because it's just a shady criminal operation, he said, was funding other criminal activities, which is true. So we could see new Chad, once recast Connor Floyd is in place, back at the helm of DiMera. By the time he replaces Billy Flynn, we could see that Chad will have fought to take back DiMera from the Kiriakis creeps and turn the family business legit. Maybe. We also suspect that Cat Greene could try to rope Chad into digging into his brother E.J. DiMera's recent acquisition of Salem's University Hospital. She was left no choice by Shane Donovan, so he reactivated Cat as an ISA analyst again. So Chad may still be helping Cat dig into E.J.'s interest in the hospital when Connor Floyd takes over the role. Plus, Days of Our Lives fans know Chad and Gabby had feelings for each other back when Abigail faked her death several years ago. So we could see Chad develop feelings for her again. Gabby's a free agent. She split with JJ. Kind of hard for him to convince his ex to take him back when he accused Gabby of attempted murder. Awkward. So Chad and Gabby had an interesting chat this week where he insisted he's not dating Kat, and with Stefan gone, although he did get a name drop this week, they're both single, so we could see Gabby and Chad heating up, if not now, later when it's Connor Floyd in the role. And there's also a chance that there could be a lag between Billy Flynn's last exit as Chad and Connor Floyd's first episode as Chance. I believe there is going to be a gap. So the question is, how big and how will they explain it? We could see them slide Chad off the character canvas and say he went to Boston with the kids to visit Jack and Jen for a few weeks. Or, like they sometimes do on Days, they just sideline people and don't really explain where they are. They just do stuff with other characters. Or maybe Chad gets some kind of clue about where his late wife Abby's remains are and he runs off to try and find them. Or Chad gets word that Abby was never dead in the first place, goes to find her. And another possibility for Chad's departure as Billy Flynn exits and Connor Floyd debuts is maybe Chad decides to go find his missing brother, Stefan DiMera, because he was just name dropped and the DiMera brothers are beginning to wonder why they can't reach him. So while Chad and Stefan, weren't close, not at all, because he preyed on Abby when she had DID, still, Chad may help Tony search for Stefan in Alemania to explain his short absence as they transition actors over to Connor Floyd. But for now, we still get to see Billy Flynn on Days of Our Lives as he wraps up his iconic role as Chad DiMera until final scenes early next year, and then Cutie Pie Connor takes his place. We will let you know when we have a final air date for Billy Flynn and a debut date for Connor Floyd. So the timing is the reveal of Billy Flynn's exit was March 15th, and the casting reveal of his replacement, Connor Floyd, came this week. Now, we know Billy wrapped filming at Days at least a month, possibly 6 weeks ago, because his first air date on Young and the Restless was June 19th, and they only tape about a month or so ahead. So we're looking at a gap of at least 4 weeks, possibly more, between Chad actors as they swap. So check back for news on that soon.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.